Good morning, friends. Today we are reading a poem written by John Donne. It is entitled as Go and Catch a Falling Star. This poem is prescribed in the syllabus of BA Part 2nd by Govt.College Tribal University, Banswara. So, before we start the poem, let us know a brief introduction of the poet. John Donne was an English poet who was born on January 22nd in 1572 in London, and he died on March 31st, 1631 in London also. John Donne is considered as the pioneer of metaphysical poetry. He is known for his abrupt style, abrupt opening of the poetry or any of his writings. He uses a number of paradoxes or ironies in his works. By occupation, John Donne was a poet, priest, and a lawyer as well. Among his writings, he is well known for his love poetry and satires. If we talk of metaphysical poetry, they are highly intellectualized. We use strange imagery in a metaphysical poetry. We see frequent use of paradoxes. It contains complicated thoughts and it questions the nature of reality in a philosophical way. And we find weird comparisons that are known as conceits in a metaphysical poetry. This poem, Go and Catch a Falling Star, is a song. As the poet mentioned in the title, song, Go and Catch a Falling Star, it means it is meant to be read or sung. This poem is a 3-stanza poem in sets of 9 lines each. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A B C C D D D. The tone of the poem is light and humorous, and there is a use of exaggeration in this poetry. The poet presents a cynical attitude towards women in this poem. We find that the poet presents a number of impossible tasks with finding a faithful and beautiful woman in the world. Means the poet states that it is as impossible as catching a falling star as to find a faithful and beautiful woman. So let us read the poem and go through the meanings of the poem. Go and catch a falling star. Get with child a mandrake root. Tell me where all past years are, or who clapped the devil's foot. Teach me to hear mermaids singing, or to keep off envy's singing, and find what will serve to advance an honest mind. If thou beest born to strange sights, things invisible to see, write 10,000 days and nights, till his snow white hairs on thee. Thou, when thou returnest, will tell me all strange wonders that befell thee, and swear nowhere lives a woman true and fair. If thou findest one, let me know. Such a pilgrimage were sweet, yet do not, I would not go. I would not go, though at next door we might meet, though she were true when you met her, and last till you write your letter, yet she will be false ere I come to 2 or 3. So, after reading the text of this poem, you could get an idea about the poem, what it is written about. So, in the first stanza, if we go through the stanza, we find that the poet enumerates a number of impossible tasks and first of them is to go and to catch a falling star. In the first line, the poet commands to the listener and tells him that you should go and catch a falling star if you can. So all of us know that nobody can catch a falling star. It is an impossible task. And second impossible task that is enumerated here, that is get with child a mandrake root. Mandrake is a plant with a human shape. So it is very evident or very clear that no one of us can get a human child from a plant. So this one also an impossible task, that nobody can get a human child from a mandrake root or a mandrake plant. So the second impossible task that the poet tells us to do is to getting a human child from a mandrake plant. Tell me where all past years are. Nobody knows. Time doesn't have any place to go and to come. None of us can tell that the time comes from place and comes to that particular place. So this is also an impossible task to tell where the time goes and where the time comes from. So this is the third impossible task that the poet tells us, to find out the place where the past time has gone. Who clapped the devil's foot? The next impossible task that is written here is to find out the person who clapped, who separated or who spilled the devil's foot. It is a myth that somebody spilled the devil's foot, but that person is unknown. So this is a mythical story. None of us can know about that person. Even it is not clear that it is true or not. And as there are no scientific proofs of such incident, that is why it will be treated as a thing that doesn't exist or never existed. That is why this is also impossible task. Teach me to hear mermaid singing. Mermaid is a human shape. It is known as jalpari in Hindi. Jalpari. So mermaid, it had the face of a woman, and the fish tail is in place of the legs. So it lives in water. It is also creature, mythical character. So whether it sings or not, but the poet tells us that we should teach him that how to sing, how to listen the music sung by a mermaid. So even we haven't seen any mermaid, so how can we find out the way in which the mermaid song can be sung, can be listened? So it is also an impossible task. Or to keep off envy stinging. Envy stinging is a human characteristic. We appreciate people, sometimes we criticize them. It is human nature. So we cannot change the human nature. We find positive and negative in things. So the poet tells us that keep off the quality from man, that he should not criticize someone. That is also an impossible task. And find what wind serves to advance an honest mind. So another impossible task, that to find out what qualities are fed by a wind to promote human honesty. It is impossible. There is no such wind that can promote, that can advance honesty in a human characteristic. So all these impossible tasks are enumerated in this first stanza. The poet first tells us to find out the falling star, to catch a falling star. That is, falling star cannot be caught by any one of us. The second task is to get a human child from a mandrake root, And the third impossible task is to find out the place where the past years are gone. Next, he tells us to know the person who clapped the foot of the devil. And next, he tells us to find the device or the way in which we can enjoy the music or the songs sung by a mermaid. At last, he tells us to keep off the envy sting from human characteristics. A human praises a man, or sometimes he criticizes. So criticism is a part of human nature. Human nature cannot be changed. That is why it is also an impossible task, because these are the basic qualities in a human being, and these basic qualities are not subject to change. Nobody can praise everyone all the time, and if somebody does so, he will not be treated as a common man. So another impossible task is to find out the way in which the wind promote honesty in human mind. That is also impossible task. So in this way, the poet has listed a number of impossible tasks to find out for the listener, or to do by the listener or implied listener of the poet. In the next stanza, he tells us, if thou beest born to strange sights, things invisible to see, ride 10,000 days and nights, till age snow white hairs on thee, thou, when thou returnest, will tell me all strange wonders that befell thee. If thou beest born to strange sights, if somebody is born with special qualities to see the invisible things, if somebody is bestowed by such qualities to see the invisible things, that person is commanded here, that person is requested here by the poet to ride on a horse for 10,000 days and nights, or till the age when his hair turns grey. So this is really a long period to ride on. And what to do through this riding? Thou, when thou returnest, will tell me all strange wonders that befell thee. The poet tells us that the person who is bestowed with such a quality that he can see the invisible things, and he rides for 10,000 days and nights continuously in the strange world, to know the unknown things. During this period, during this journey, that special person will share a number of strange things with you, a number of beautiful things with you, but he will not be able to share one thing with you, that he could found a woman true and fair, a woman who is beautiful as well as faithful to someone. So this task is as impossible as all the impossible tasks enumerated here in this poem. So all these tasks, this is a paradoxical or exaggerated statement or exaggerated things that are narrated here. So as we came to know in the beginning of the poem, that the poet John Donne is known for his paradoxical use in his writings, in his poetry. Here in this poem also, he has used a number of paradoxes, a number of exaggerated statements are here, and he used all these impossible tasks to compare, to find a beautiful and faithful woman. So it's totally strange to compare such unequal things in this manner. The rest part of the poem will be covered in the video. I hope that you enjoyed this one. So I will look forward to you in the next video. Please do join me in the next video. Thank you.